desperate to get higher marks for question 4, one way you can do this is by producing outstanding topic sentences. I've got 30 of these on the way now for the 10 non-fiction anthology pieces. So stay tuned, I'm going to get you higher marks. This is Schofield on Shakespeare.
Il cuore a strisce, portaci dove vuoi.
Question 4 is the part of the exam for which you can prepare the most. You know that one of 10 anthology pieces is going to come up, and with some research on recent exam papers you can probably whittle that number down a bit. You also know that the question that comes up isn't going to be aimed at catching you out. This question is pretty broad. So this video is going to focus sharply on topic sentences, the sentences which answer the question but also immediately reveal to the examiner that you have a very good understanding of the text and can write well. So how detailed and interesting are your topic sentences at the moment? Watching this video will help you make them even better. So to get the most out of this video, I would recommend jotting down your own topic sentences to the past paper questions shown on screen before comparing them to mine. Perhaps, especially if the exam is imminent, you may decide to write down and memorise some of my topic sentences within this video. However, I do think it's important that you continue to think for yourselves about the text. Blindly copying without thinking could potentially cause you problems if the question which comes up in the exam is phrased in a slightly different way. So let's start with the danger of a single story. Whip open your anthology now to page 2 and skim read the text. Press pause to do this. In June 2020, the question was, how does the writer use language and structure in text 2 to convey her thoughts and opinions? As ever, very broad and lending itself to wretched pre-learning. Some of you may be aiming to write 4 paragraphs exploring 3 quotations for this. However, some of you may feel that 3 paragraphs exploring 3 quotations may be sufficient, particularly if your topic sentences and subsequent analysis are detailed and insightful. So, over to you guys, keen pupils, subscribers, and casual YouTube visitors. How would you begin each main paragraph for this question? Write down topic sentences only and press pause. Here are my suggested topic sentences. 1. Early on within Edexcel's speech, she suggests that it's important that children from all cultures have access to literature which reflects their own lives. 2. Within the middle stages, Edexcel implies that it is all too easy to develop prejudices about other cultures and communities, particularly from the perspective of a theoretically superior culture. 3. In the closing stages of the speech, Edexcel rousingly suggests that books can potentially be transformative and inspirational, especially for those suffering repression and discrimination. 3 particular things to note. A. Within the first part of the topic sentence, signpost the section which it is taken from, i.e. early on within Edexcel's speech, within the middle stages, etc. If you do this for all 3 or 4 paragraphs, it will indicate to the writer that you have covered the text as a whole. B. Notice the level of detail and specificity within these topic sentences. You need to make sure that you're not too broad. A topic sentence such as Edexcel believes that people need to rid themselves of prejudices is okay-ish, but the problem is that it could potentially be applied to any section. Give details. C. try to include a few more flamboyant words in these topic sentences to rouse your bored witless examiner and show that actually he or she is marking someone who can write with flair. I do this here with the phrase theoretically superior culture within the second topic sentence and the adverb rousingly within the third. You get the idea. Time to move on to text 2, which is A Passage to Africa. In June 2023, the question was, how does the writer use language and structure in text 2 to shock the reader? So use my feedback from the danger of a single story to write 3 or 4 deliciously precise and detailed topic sentences, including signposts at the beginning stating which section of the text you are referring to. Press pause now. My suggested topic sentences are 1. In the first part of the text, Alagai's superficially casual, uncaring attitude towards the starving and those suffering shocks the reader. 2. Within the middle section of the text, Alagai's graphic descriptions of terrible wounds and disgusting smells is shocking. 3. In the latter stages of the text, Alagai's close analysis and reflections on a dying man's smile is surprising and is intended to make the reader think. Looking particularly at that first topic sentence, consider the crucial importance of the adverb superficially. Perceptive readers of the text know full well that just because Alagai references drugs craving and not being impressed that much by starvation, it does not mean that he doesn't care deeply. Within the third topic sentence, note that I use a synonym-ish for shocking in surprising. I think this is okay. It adds some variety to the phrasing and results in a more convincing point. Time to move now onto that classic, that favourite of so many of my pupils, The Explorer's Daughter. In January 2022, the question was, how does the writer use language and structure in text 2 to create tension and suspense? Time now for you to write 3 or 4 very specific, detailed, intelligent topic sentences with perhaps some more sophisticated word choices to show off a tad. Go on, press pause now. My suggested topic sentences. 1. In the opening stages of the text, Herbert builds up tension by setting the scene of the hunt, with hunters and narwhals poised and the former ready to strike. 2. In the middle section, suspense is built up through the drawn-out build-up to the hunt, which includes description of tense onlookers struggling to discern what is happening out at sea. 3. In the closing stages of the text, Herbert builds up tension by reflecting philosophically and ambivalently on the extent to which hunting narwhals can be morally justified. Did you take me up on my challenge to incorporate some more sophisticated, engaging vocabulary within your topic sentences? Of course you did, you rascals! Note here my use of poised within the first topic sentence, and the adverbs philosophically and ambivalently within the third. Time for Explorers or Boys Messing About. Those silly guys. In November 2021, the question was, how does the writer use language and structure in text 2 to convey his impressions of the adventures of the two men? You know the drill by now. Reread the text as necessary, whip out your pen, and get each paragraph off to a flyer. It's pause time. My suggested topic sentences. 1. In the opening stages of the text, Morris implies that the two men are seasoned, blundering adventurers, whose amateur approach is irritating and costly to others. 2. Within the middle section, Morris's detailed description of Brooks and Smith being rescued in Antarctica suggests that he feels the two men's hapless, foolish ventures have caused considerable inconvenience to a number of different authorities. 3. The final section of the text confirms Morris's implicit view that the two men are childish rather than intrepid. The world would be a better place if they ceased their wretched exploring with immediate effect. As an aside, I'm not wholly convinced that Q4s should be dull and robotic to read. There may be occasions when you can implement a lively tone, as I do here with my use of the phrase seasoned, blundering adventurers for the first topic sentence, and my dramatic conclusion post-colon in the third. The world would be a better place if they ceased their wretched exploring with immediate effect. Are you keen to move on to 127 hours between a rock and a hard place? And why, oh why, didn't our hero tell anyone where he was going that fateful morning? What a twit! In June 2022, the question was, how does the writer use language and structure in text 2 to interest the reader in the events that he describes? Reread the text as necessary and write those topic sentences. It's pause time. Here are my suggested topic sentences. Number 1. In the opening stages of the text, Ralston interests the reader with his minute technical description of a drop-off point within a canyon and what is required to navigate it. 2. Within the middle section, the reader is interested by Ralston's dramatic description of a chockstone falling towards him and the fact it crushes and traps his right arm. 3. In the closing stages of the text, Ralston interests the reader with his frantic, unsuccessful attempts to free his trapped arm and the techniques he uses to try to summon additional strength. Note there is a narrative aspect to some of these topic sentences. In order to answer these very broad questions, we often need to give some details about exactly what is happening within the text, and that's okay. Next up is Young and Dyslexic, You've Got It Going On, by fairly recently deceased Aston Villa fan Benjamin Zephaniah. In January 2022, the question was, how does the writer use language and structure in text 2 to interest and engage the reader? Reread the text as necessary and write those topic sentences. It's pause time. Here are my gems. 1. In the opening stages of the text, Zephaniah interests the reader with his account of his childhood, in which teachers fail to understand or show empathy towards difficulties partly caused by his dyslexia. 2. In the middle section, Zephaniah's references to his chronic difficulties reading and writing are interesting, particularly as we know he is a published poet. 3. In the closing stages of the text, Zephaniah engages the reader with his positive messaging about dyslexia. It can be an advantage and result in an exciting future. Note the second topic sentence, in which I explain why an aspect of the text is interesting. In general, an anonymous individual having chronic difficulties with reading and writing isn't particularly interesting, just rather depressing. However, a published poet having these difficulties is a different matter. You've been waiting a long time for that load of nonsense entitled A Game of Polo with a Headless Goat. And in January 2020, the question was, how does the writer use language and structure in text 2 to present Yaqub and Iqbal? Reread the text as necessary, write those topic sentences, press pause. Here are my chosen topic sentences. Number 1. Towards the beginning of the text, Levine presents Yaqub and Iqbal as loving the chaos and carnage of a race in which donkey carts and cars travel at high speeds. 2. In the middle section, Yaqub is presented as an adrenaline-seeking, risk-taking, fearless driver. 3. In the closing stages of the text, Levine presents the two young men as more sensible and mature, albeit with a sense of humour, as they decide not to get involved with the post-race recriminations. Note the second topic sentence, in which I only reference Yakub and not the pair. I think this is fair enough, as this question seems uncharacteristically and slightly unhelpfully prescriptive in comparison to the majority of other ones. Iqbal is not actually mentioned in a huge chunk of the middle of the text. Next up, beyond the sky and the earth, the journey into Bhutan. In January 2021, the question was, how does the writer use language and structure in text 2 to interest the reader? The flippant amongst us might answer, well, she doesn't. But that isn't what the examiner is looking for. Reread the text as necessary, write those topic sentences, press pause. Here are 3 juicy topic sentences. 1. Towards the beginning of the text, Zeppa interests the reader with her descriptions of an extraordinarily mountainous landscape and its remote location. 2. In the middle section, the reader is likely to be interested in the incongruous signs of Western influence within Thimphu and the description of the town. 3. In the closing stages of the text, the references to Bhutan's proud history and resistance to colonial intervention are likely to be interesting and amusing. Sometimes a single carefully chosen word can state quite a lot and reveal detailed insight into a text. This is arguably the case for the second topic sentence, in which I point out that the signs of Western influence within Thimphu are incongruous. Notice in the third topic sentence how I add another related adjective to my topic sentence. Ashley Eden having his back slapped, hair pulled, and his face rubbed with wet dough isn't just interesting, it's amusing. Our penultimate text on the list is H is for hawk. In June 2020, the question was, how does the writer use language and structure in text 2 to build up suspense and tension? Reread the text as necessary, write topic sentences, it's pause time. Here are the jewels. Number 1. At the beginning of the text, the slow, detailed descriptions of the hawks' boxes and the abrupt movements within them build up tension as we wait for the birds to be pulled out. 2. Within the middle section, the glorious, unexpected, majestic descriptions of the first hawk and her perspective on the world build up suspense and tension. 3. In the closing stages of the text, the writer's panic-stricken desperation over the possibility of having to take the crazed, weird second hawk builds up tension. Note the accurate apostrophe in the first topic sentence. Examiners and English teachers get sick and tired of careless omissions and/or sloppy positioning. You may not lose marks for this on the section of the paper, but why put the markers backs up? For God's sake, watch this and learn if you know you have made a single apostrophe error in the last 3 months. Shame on you, twits! Note the lively tone as seen in the tricolon within the second topic sentence of glorious, unexpected, majestic, and within the third that the second hawk is crazed and weird, which it is, of course. OMG, we have got there. Chinese Cinderella. Random fact is that I taught this at the beginning of my career at Trinity RC School. Hi kids! In June 2020, the question was, how does the writer use language and structure in text 2 to interest and engage the reader? For the final time, yes, breathe a huge sigh of relief, reread the text as necessary before smashing those topic sentences. It's pause time. Here are my topic sentences. Number 1. Early on within the text, the young narrator's obvious concern and discomfort at the prospect of leaving school to return home is interesting, particularly as the reader is likely to expect most children to be excited and warmed by this. Number 2. Within the middle section, the writer's description of the narrator's nervous interactions with her father and her subsequent incredulity at learning that she has won a writing competition is interesting and engaging. Number 3. In the closing stages of the text, the writer's dramatic shift from unhappy apprehension to bravely taking the initiative to ask her father whether she could go to university in England is compelling and moving. For those of you interested in these things, here are the anthology texts which came up between June 2018 and June 2024. You will notice that some of the dates in this video included a R. This is because Edexcel will sometimes produce a different version of a paper for students in specific time zones. These papers are taken from official Pearson Edexcel websites. Do with it what you will. I'm not particularly one for taking shortcuts by elaborately predicting what texts will come up. Put the hard work in, think for yourselves, read in your spare time, and the grades often take care of themselves.
This has been a Schofield on Shakespeare production, helping you with more insightful, detailed and flamboyant topic sentences for Q4. Many thanks for watching.